Did I see what ICE is doing? I heard something about how they arrested the family of the attacker from Boulder, Colorado. Is that what you're talking about? Looking mighty short. What's up, dude? I am deceivingly not short. 25-year-old woman in Arizona running for Congress. No, I haven't seen that either. There we go. We are live. We're live on the YouTubes. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Chat, tap the screen. Let's get some taps on the screens. And if you're just joining, say hi. Don't be a lurker. She has a great story. Okay. Colorado Springs here. It's wild. Woof. Hello, my mom. Hello, Jan. Love your debates. Thank you, Steph. Michelle from Chicago. I love that. Hello, YouTube. Oh, I just ate some McCain's chicken. I just ate an apple too. I don't know what it was. I ate Cane's chicken the other day and I puked it all up. Puked it all up 30 minutes later and I still craved it today. That was like 3 days ago. Still went straight for it today. Cane's chicken's not good. Don't you tell me what to do. Get some In-N-Out. In-N-Out's pretty dope. I'm just not a huge burger guy. Yellow.
Piggy, what's up? Hello?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I am.
Are you a
Well, a
repeat?
voter, I guess. A voter. Yeah.
All right. What do you like about Trump?
I like how he handles social issues. I like how he handles countries like China and Russia. I also do like his stance on immigration. Those are the three main things I like about Trump.
Yikes. All right.
Wow, you're just gonna pass on like a judgmental comment like that already? What a way to
Uh,
start.
all right. Well, you're the one who said, okay, you like the way he handles social issues. It's pretty wild to me. I think that I think JD Vance said it the best. Trump is like social heroin, cultural heroin. I think that he says
Well, you gotta
bombastic
watch that.
things.
You gotta watch that word. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but you gotta watch that
Yeah,
word and just for the well-being of your own life.
appreciate you.
Good boy.
I, all right. I think that he says bombastic things, divisive things to divide our country. He makes insane claims to where you either have to pick a side. You have to pick a side and agree that what he said about the people coming from south of the border, they're rapists or grapists and murderers, and that some might be good people. You have to be okay with that kind of claim. You have to be okay with things like grab him by the kitty. You have to be okay with him being an adjudicated sexual abuser. You have to be okay with him being a felon. And the social divide has never been worse because he's the most controversial person walking the earth.
Well, listen, I'm not here to argue his moral character or the guy's character in general. I'm here to argue his policy. I do like what he does when it comes to the gender roles we have in today's society. I don't appreciate how the left always deems these things. I don't think the ideology on gender issues on the left is applicable. If it is applicable, I think the byproducts of that are disgusting.
I think that you would have to tell me how the left is trying to legislate this because I feel like this is a thing. Again, you're bringing up moral stuff, but you're gonna have to tell us where we're a shoving this in your face or making it law, and B, how it's wrong, and how the way Trump is handling it is the appropriate way to handle it. So, like, demonizing and punching down on the trans community or on LGBTQ people, instead of saying, "Hey, if we want to remove them from sports, here's the most like graceful way to do it without completely demonizing this entire group of people. Here's like a really good middle ground." That's not what he's doing. He's like, we don't want men in women's bathrooms. You know, he says all these things that he walked back on. By the way, he said these things in 2016 were not a big deal.
Well, dude, it's not just about what the left legislates. They don't actually do anything about the issue at all. They don't actually like address it at all. It's like a certain part of wokeism, like they're too scared to address these issues when it comes to minorities or people who've been historically oppressed. It's like they just let them do. They have free grounds to do what the fuck they want. Nothing can stop them, right?
What are
It's
they
kind of
doing that's so crazy that we need to stop
they're
them?
not doing jack shit. They're not doing
No,
anything about it.
what are people doing that we need to stop?
We shouldn't let men's and women's sports. That shouldn't be a thing. I think that's just common sense. We shouldn't let
I
people who aren't supposed to be in that category and have an unfair advantage in the sport.
I'm gonna guess that you've heard of the claims where if people are on HRT for a few years, that most of the levels of their physical attributes are that of a cis woman.
Not in all cases. Not when it comes to bone tissue and bone width. I think there's still some kind of dimensions men have, and I don't think anyone should have that in that because you can't just expect. It's not reliable to say, "Hey, I took some kind of medical drug, right?" and say that all of a sudden I'm a full on female. I've got all the same things you have. I don't have any advantage. I don't think that's for like really
There's
something you should
people
say.
there's people within the
That's
same
reliable.
classes, like a woman could also be born with like attributes greater than their peers, and we don't push them out of the sport. Mind you, we're talking about 10 people in this league you're mentioning, 10 out of 500 plus thousand. And what we've done is we've harmed far more people in that community than we've saved women from having to compete with them.
You mean so that women having like some people have better genetics for a certain sport? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Well, usually there's weight classes in certain sports to address for that. When it comes to people having better genetics, right, they still have the same structure in terms of their biology, right? It's not like an absolute thing, right? You may have this advantage over me, right? For example, let's say you're a boxer and I'm also a boxer, but I happen to have a longer reach, but you happen to have more power, right? There's certain elements that you can't just say, like, oh, I have more of an advantage than you have in this
So do we
sport,
need to
right?
have bone density
This,
classes?
sorry?
Do we need to have different classes for bone density?
We shouldn't account for people who want to say that they're women and make sure to compete in the sport just because they want to feel better about themselves.
That's not what they're doing. They're not doing it to compete in sports. These people just so happen to be trans. If you honestly think that these people are transitioning just to compete in women's sports, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I got a bridge to sell you.
I really think if we have to like account for people wanting to be in a woman's sport even though they're a biological male, and account for all the fucking 6,000 other genders they are gonna make up in the coming years, right? Then I think that's just a illusion. That's gonna be
All
impossible to
genders are
account
made up.
for. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna make up 20 more after this, right? And then we're gonna have to make a weight class for that, make a category for
Listen,
that as
we
well.
freedom of
It's a
belief,
little too
freedom
much,
of
dude.
religion, right? So like we allow Christianity to walk amongst us, even though I think it's absolutely absurd. I think it's crazy. I don't kick those people out of, you know, my common areas.
Do you think religions should supersede law?
Do I think religious? What?
Religion should supersede law?
Do I think religions supersede law?
Yeah.
In what means? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Let's say my religion says this, but the law says this, so I have to go against the law to do this thing that my religion says is good.
No.
Yeah, I have the same belief when it comes to transgenderism and wokeism.
Okay, but this is not an ideology, right? Transgenderism is not an ideology. It's a thing. It's an actual thing. You can be diagnosed with it. I'm sorry, not transgender, but gender dysphoria can be a thing that you're experiencing in distress, just like you can experience depression or ADHD. It's very real. It's not something you have to believe in.
it's a belief they have, and we shouldn't have to account for that because they believe those things. We
Would
have our
you
own laws in
would you
place,
say that
and
being
we have them for
depressed is a
practical
belief?
reasons. Huh?
Would you say that being depressed is a belief?
No.
Okay, that just like gender dysphoria is not a belief.
Yeah, you can say like, oh yeah, I'm born in the wrong body. I want to be a male or I want to be a boy, but you're not that.
It's not a belief.
Dude, I can have depression and say like I want to have a six pack, right? Like, I just want to have one, you know.
The difference
I
is we can actually see the outcomes of giving these people gender affirming care, and it's far better than just giving them counseling or giving them antidepressants or antipsychotics. None of that works, but it just so happens that gender affirming care works. So the science shows it's not just a belief; it's an actual thing.
sure to take all the drugs you want, man. I'm not gonna stop you from doing that. If you
I'm
want to
not
do that
saying
and
we
you're
should give
paying
them
for
all
it.
drugs. I'm saying that they don't work. Gender affirming care is what works.
Yeah, you just can't compete against women in women's sports, and you can't share the bathroom with other biological females.
All 10
So
of
that's
them.
all I'm saying.
You like so you were losing sleep. You didn't care how corrupt this criminal president was. You wanted all 10 of those people out of the NCAA.
How corrupt this guy is. I think if you're mentioning the Eugenio Carroll case, I think that guy right there, I think he should redeem himself. I think if somebody like Dean Withers can redeem himself, I think Trump can redeem himself as well. I don't think there's like a
Yeah.
stop at
Well, I think the thing we're forgiving Dean Withers for was from when he was like an adolescent, a preteen, and
his
Trump is a
excuse was
full-grown
bullshit,
man.
dude. He had a dumbass excuse. He said I didn't have education, like the motherfucker didn't go through
But he's
preschool or anything like
19.
that.
It was literally in his formative years.
Yeah, I didn't say the N word either, dude. I don't think that's an excuse. I don't understand. Like
I
me
did.
and him, probably.
I did.
What?
I did when I was a preteen.
Well, what's the reason for? What's the excuse?
I was born in Texas. My whole family's MAGA. So,
Come on, bro. Come on.
what do you mean come on?
Come on. I'm born in Texas. I can say the N word because I'm born in Texas. Come on, dude.
No, I'm not saying I can. I'm saying I did. I didn't know any better. That was the community I was raised
That's
in.
not. You can't. Like, what's the reason? You didn't know that was bad?
I was just yeah, I was on Xbox. I did it.
Yeah, me too, dude. I heard the word a lot. I didn't say it.
Well, I did.
What made you say it and not me?
I don't know, but the difference is I'm 36 now, and my mother still says like she said it in my living room like the other day, and I don't say it. I haven't said it in a long time.
Yeah, dude. I just don't see like why. If you knew that was wrong, then why would you say that, right? Listen, okay. If you actually believe, okay, I'll concede to this. If you actually believe you redeemed yourself, then I think Donald Trump can redeem himself as well.
Nah, not as a fully grown adult. Not like in fact he's not remorseful, right? Has he shown any remorse for any of that?
Maybe not publicly. Who
No,
knows?
no.
Dude, I didn't know you said the N word up till now. Have you said sorry to each person you said the N word to?
I wouldn't know how to find him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Carol wants to talk to Trump any day now, right? I don't think Trump
I'm
could.
sure a public apology would be nice.
Yeah, it wouldn't change anything, dude. It wouldn't be practical.
I
Because
think I would think it would be very powerful. Like the last we heard from him, he was like saying like Kamala wasn't black and that she's not his type and that she's a horse face and she's not the chosen one. And like, but even on top of that, he's like, you can grab women by the kitty. When you have this much money, you don't have to ask. You can just do it. Like this is a thing he does in practice. This isn't just like a slip up.
how long ago was the
I'm sorry.
How long ago was the Eugenio Carroll case?
The case was in like 2022.
No, but how long ago was the incident? I mean,
Decades ago. But he's not like his remorse is not like when he tweeted about it 40 times in one night. By the way, in 2019,
if Trump
when
hasn't
he
changed,
tweeted
why?
when he tweeted 40 times in one night, it resets the clock, right? Like he is not remorseful.
But hold on, imagine this, right? I'm not sure what year it was. Maybe like 1980, 1990. Let's just say it was 1990. So my question is, if he hasn't changed, then why hasn't he raped anyone in 35 years?
How do we know that? I don't know.
Because we can't say he has. There's nothing official on
He's
it,
got like 28 allegations, bro.
and none of them have been proved.
Yeah, well, it turns out when you're
Nothing
rich,
can
you
be
can
proven
pay them
without a
off,
shadow of a
right?
doubt.
Even if
It's
they did, you guys would be like, "Oh, it was corrupt. This is a corrupt court." You
But
guys,
dude, it's
that's what you guys
innocent
do.
until proven guilty, dude. She hasn't done a grape in
Okay, so
35 years.
if that's your
And you're
standard,
saying the man hasn't changed.
if that's your standard, let me ask you this: Is Trump a felon? Did he commit felonies?
What are you talking about specifically?
His 34 felonies.
I haven't looked into that.
Okay, all right. Yeah, all right.
What?
Okay, well then you're literally like maliciously neglectful if you haven't looked into the felony charges of somebody you elected into presidency.
Well, what were they? What were the felony
They
charges?
were fucking
Pickle?
fraud.
Fraud. What's that got to do with grape, man?
I'm just saying your standard of evidence for believing whether Trump did something or not is being convicted in a criminal court, and he's been convicted of fraud, and I'm going to guess that you still don't believe that.
I said earlier in the live, I'm not here to debate his moral character, just his policy, right?
I'm not.
Whether Trump has
Okay.
a good character or not.
All right, then
is
let's
not.
debate his policy. His policy on Russia is to say that he's going to fix the war in one day, and now it turns out that Putin doesn't even give a fuck enough to show up to meetings with him. They don't even care. They don't respect him whatsoever. In fact, it's in Ukraine's best interest, it turns out, to not tell us what their war plans are. And with China, he's basically made it to where every country is rooting against us and would rather see China win. And we are no longer friends with anybody the way he's dealt with China.
Is he dealing with China in a nice way? Is China liking it? Is he being friendly with China?
I don't think, no.
Exactly. We shouldn't be friends with people like China who exploit. Hold
I
on.
think we need to be more calculated.
Do you know what they're doing in China, Pickles?
What are they doing?
They're putting Muslims in concentration camps and they're forcing little children to work in sweatshops for them to boost their GDP and their economy. It's disgusting. We shouldn't work with them. We should put tariffs on them.
Okay, and
to
red states
hopefully
are rolling back
deter
child
them
labor
from
laws
doing that.
right now here in the United States. If you guys actually cared about that, you'd be America first, right?
They're doing child labor laws. Which red state are you talking about?
Florida.
And they're doing what?
They're allowing children. They're yearning for the mines. They're going to allow children to work overnight because they kicked all the migrants out of their state.
They're making children work overnight?
They're allowing children to work overnight.
Forced or not forced? Willingly or
Do you
unwillingly?
think that children can consent to labor?
I think children who want a job, like I had a job when I was 13. I didn't.
Yeah, and I'm sure you weren't influenced to do it or manipulated to do it whatsoever.
I did it because I wanted some new kicks, dude. That's why I
Sure.
did that.
Sure.
I was influenced online. I was like, let me get some new kicks. You think I worked a job at 13 so I can help pay my mom's taxes?
Who
What are you
knows?
saying, bro?
Who knows? Who knows? Do you think every child is going to be willingly working without being coerced by their parents? Do you think that they can like they can consent? Do you think a child can consent to that type of dynamic or relationship with an adult?
I think children get exploited in that kind of way in every single country, no matter where you live, dude.
Okay,
I don't think.
So now it's all the same, and you don't care.
I totally care, but all I'm saying is that person is still getting exploited whether they work overnight or not.
You guys don't care about foreign affairs. You're the party of America first, right? You don't want to help Ukraine stop dying. You don't want Ukrainians to stop dying. You don't give a flying fuck about them. So stop pretending like you care about people in China.
Dude, Ukraine should just stop and give the land back to Russia to stop their civilian casualties.
Give it back to Russia?
They're conscripting their citizens, dude, and they're unaliving them. Zelensky is basically a dictator over there.
I'm sorry.
They're conscripting Ukrainians over there, and these Ukrainians they don't want to fight for
the
Ukraine.
Ukraine war, right?
They don't want to fight there.
People are fleeing Ukraine as well. I promise you, people want to fight there. People never been more amped to fight in Ukraine.
If that's the case, then why does Zelensky conscript his citizens?
I'm sorry, that's what happens in war. We have a draft too, right?
Yeah, and I'm against that. I think
Okay.
freedom is number one
All
thing.
right. So you're just a giant walking hypocrite.
How so? How so?
Because we live in the United States, you're like, yeah, well, they do drafting. Well, we do too.
All I'm saying is that, like, why do we fight wars in the U.S.? Name one war we fought.
I don't fucking. A lot of them are horrible. A lot of them are because we got tricked into doing it.
Who tricked us?
Listen, it's different when we're being. If we were to be invaded, 99,999,999, 999 times out of fucking 1,000, it would be justified to fight back, wouldn't it? Can you
The
tell me an
distinction is
instance?
where
Can you tell me an instance where it would not be justified to fight back if your country's being invaded?
yeah, the distinction is we're a fucking superpower, dude. We got the biggest GDP. We got the most military bases in Europe. We got the best nuclear arsenal. We got the best nuclear warheads. We got the biggest military. We
I
got the
didn't ask you
highest
that. I
military
asked in what
budget.
instance would it make sense? Would it be justified for us to not fight back? If Mexico invaded us, would it make
If you
sense for
were
us to
some
not fight back?
yes, yes, yes. If you were some small weak country like Puerto Rico and Mexico invaded you and you're like, hey, let's conscript our citizens and fight a meaningless war, then I'd say that's dumb. You shouldn't do
Oh
that.
my god.
You should hold on, citizens before money, dude. The only
It's
reason
not
we fight
about
war
money, it's about sovereignty. I promise
sovereignty.
you, you guys are all about 2A. You guys would go down
Where's
shooting.
the sovereignty in death, dude? Where's the sovereignty in death,
I don't know.
Spickles?
Ask all of your 2A friends.
My what?
Ask all of your friends who worship the Second Amendment.
What do you mean?
Puerto Rico's part of the United States too. Yeah, that's great. That's a United States territory. Uh,
There's hold on. There's no. Listen, I don't like the whole the liberty. Give me liberty. Oh, like give me like death and
it sounds
liberty.
like you're in the wrong party then. It sounds like you
Whatever
just need
whatever the
to
line is, I
you need to
forgot the
just
line, dude.
lay
I don't have
over
it
and
on top of
lay
my head.
down and take it instead of be able to defend yourself with a pew pew.
First of all, what's gonna happen to Ukraine if Russia wins the war and they just give up? What's gonna happen to Ukraine?
They get that. I don't know. It's not just what happens to Ukraine, though, right? It's like Russia takes control of Ukraine. They take control of the Black Sea port. They start fucking with trade in every Eastern European country that's connected to it. Uh, they recoup in about 4 or 8 years. We have to fight them again when they start fucking with Poland. We have to start
Is
fighting.
is that worse than halving your population?
Is what worse? They're just slaughtering. They're just bombing civilian sitters. It doesn't matter if they lay down or not.
They're just bombing civilians. It doesn't matter, right? All right. Pickle, if you think it doesn't matter if they bomb civilians, then
I think it matters that they're bombing civilians. I'm saying if you surrender or not, they're absolutely terrorizing them.
they're not gonna bomb citizens after they've already taken control of the
Okay,
country.
then they're going to go after Lithuania. Then they're going to go after Estonia. They're going after those countries next. So it's very important that these people defend their countries so that Russia
There's
doesn't
no
continue
basis on that. You're
creeping
just
west.
assuming that.
They're
There's
already
no.
lining up on the border of Lithuania.
You have no proof they're gonna attack Lithuania and try to
You're
get.
just being a troll now, but they're
Hold
literally
on,
lining
no.
up just like they did with Ukraine.
Do you know why they invaded Ukraine in the first place?
Because Putin's a fucking insane person.
No.
Yes, he has nostalgic needs or wants of bringing back like the USSR.
Then why isn't he a communist?
I don't know. What is that? I don't know if
Let me tell you why he
the
even.
economy
This is
style might not be the same thing as him bringing back the great times that he used to live in.
Let me tell you why he invaded Ukraine. This is from Putin himself. There are a lot of Russian-speaking people in Ukraine from the time of the USSR,
All right, if you're
and
falling
those
for
people.
what Putin says, I feel sorry for you, dude.
Or shall I just believe whatever you say then? You're the
You
the
shouldn't
great
believe
Messiah.
what a horrible aggressive dictator is saying. He's literally ex-KGB. He's manipulating in every sense of the word. Everything that he does is to manipulate you. Don't ever take what he says at face value. You'd be very silly to do that, dude.
So is Russia better now than they were when they were the USSR?
I don't think so. No.
Really? So you think the communist regime is the
No,
same
I
as the one
don't.
they
No,
have right
I'm
now?
saying like as a superpower, they're not. They're
I
horrible.
think I think Russia is better than the USSR. That's what I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I
so
think
Putin
Putin wants it to be
made the country better.
he he made it better. He's been in control for 23 years. He kills all his political opponents. He puts them in jail. He holds elections where he gets 90% of the vote somehow. Um, the Russian average income is $15,000 a year, and these people have such a high rate of HIV that they just stopped
What
reporting
the
it.
fuck does that got to do with anything?
People are just
They have a
dying of
high.
HIV. What if we had HIV running rampant through the United States? Wouldn't it be
Is
a
that
different
because of
country?
Putin? Did he give everyone HIV? Did he stick it
No,
in
because
them?
he's neglecting. He
Why?
doesn't give a fuck about his people.
Really? He doesn't give a fuck
Yes.
about the people.
No.
Seriously.
Yes.
Then why fight so many wars?
I don't know. He's throwing them into a meat grinder. Look, he's killed
Why try to
700.
save?
He's fed 700,000 of his own people into a fucking meat grinder.
Why is he trying to save the Russian-speaking people in Ukraine? Then why is he fighting a whole
He
war in
put
Ukraine
them
for
there, dude. He put Russian separatists in the Donbass region.
No, that was from the time of the USSR. There's Russians in the Ukraine because
And he
USSR owned
also
the
put
place back
Russian
then.
separatists in the Donbass. He did.
Can you prove it?
Yes.
I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Oh, dang. Yes, Vladimir Putin played a significant role in supporting separatist movements in the Donbass region of Ukraine. Specifically, Russia allegedly supported Russian and pro-Russian militant separatist groups in Donbass, and who took control of major government buildings, eventually formed the Donetsk and Luhansk People's Public. He also he's kidnapping Ukraine children and just putting them in Russia.
They were
Just
already
kidnapping
there,
them.
dude.
They were
He's supporting
already
them, but
there.
they were already
the children
there.
that he's kidnapping.
No. The thing you just read on the thing out there, they were already there. It doesn't say Putin placed them there. He didn't book them a fucking flight to Ukraine and told them, "Hey, stay here, buddy."
No, yes. Just because they're ethnically Russian doesn't mean they want to be part of Russia. Not all of them do.
They were getting mistreated, buddy. That's why.
Oh no,
They were
they
getting
had
oppressed by
like
the
higher
Ukrainian
life
people.
expectancy and a better economy and a better standard of living. Oh, they're being so mistreated.
You're saying the Ukrainian economy is better than the Russian one?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
What's your proof of this? Because
Okay,
now
I
think
could just look up the average income of somebody in Ukraine before this war.
what's the GDP in Ukraine?
It's different. Okay, you're talking about totally different sizes of country. I would say GDP per capita would be what you're looking for, right?
Then fucking Luxembourg's the best country of all time, dude. According to that show, that's the
No,
most boring country ever,
okay,
dude.
I'm sorry, but if I'm nailing you down on certain metrics that don't make sense, they don't make sense.
Okay, bro, GDP per capita doesn't necessarily mean higher life expectancy, bro. It might be expensive as shit, bro.
No, but
If-
higher life expectancy means higher life expectancy.
Dude, if the inflation is fucking 10 million in my country, then we have the highest GDP per capita, man, because our inflation,
Tell
our
me,
dollars
what
worth so
country has
little.
had more inflation recently, Russia or
Buddy,
Ukraine? Tell me.
I'm telling you this right now. Vietnam has the highest inflation ever, dude.
Who?
So $1 is like $1 billion in Vietnam. So they have the highest GDP per capita, man. That's so amazing, isn't it?
Okay, I'm talking about Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah. So I'm saying GDP, not GDP per capita. It's not worth anything.
GDP just means the size of your economy, the size of your economy. But how many people in that economy also is relevant. You can't just be like, look, they have more money. Well, if there's 1.6 billion people there, it's kind of different.
How come China has a higher GDP than India when India has more people?
Because China's better.
There we go. Russia's just better, dude. Russia's just better than Ukraine.
I don't think you
You can
won this
have
one,
less
bro.
people and still be better, man. Norway has
I
like
agree.
5 million people. See, this guy's from Norway. Look at this guy's name, Oslo, bro. People have like 5 million people in there, and they still have a good GDP.
What are you talking about, man? I think you need to read more books.
What is this guy? What the fuck is this?
This is one of our latest attempts to reach through to MAGA.
Yeah,
Hand puppets, crayons.
I'm here to be at your level, buddy.
And it's real funny. You guys have hand muppets right now.
Yeah. Tomorrow we're
That's
doing
real
a
funny.
podcast on shapes and colors. I hope all MAGAs.
It really
attend.
shows your intellectual ability when it comes to.
No, we're doing
intellect
this
and
for you,
education.
friend.
When it comes to intellect and education, MAGA far supersedes the left because we don't actually use hand muppets. We actually use our freedom of speech and we actually hold rallies.
Okay. Trump is the
talk
antichrist
with
when it
our
comes to
heart.
freedom of speech.
Really,
Yeah.
you make a lot of claims, man. You don't back it up, do you? You just bring this fucking muppet in here, don't you?
Okay.
As your
Well,
spokesperson.
what Trump is doing to
Who the fuck
Harvard is
even is this guy,
completely
bro?
is antithetical to freedom of speech. What he's done to multiple
He's covering
law
the muppet with
firms.
his whole camera.
What he's done to
don't see his
multiple law
face.
firms is against freedom of speech. You're all over the place today, dude.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
you
Am
didn't
I
give me a
bothering you
counter argument for
somehow?
my social issues, man.
I'm
You
sorry.
just bring this fucking muppet on the screen. You didn't give me a counter argument for my social issues when it comes to transgenders, man. You just bring this fucking muppet on.
You told me
Okay.
you wanted to get away from social issues after I schooled you on it.
I said I don't give a shit about his moral character. I only care about his policy.
Well, that's convenient. You suddenly don't care about moral character when it's one of the
I
least
never mentioned it.
moral
I said at the start.
presidents in American history.
Muppet, I told you the story. I already said it. I already put a base on it. And I said,
What a convenient time to stop caring about moral character, right, Pickles?
well, I did it
Okay.
at the start. Pickles, don't lie. I did it at the start. Don't be a blatant liar now.
Yeah, well,
be
dude,
honest.
Yeah,
it's
no, I
also
just
been
mean,
8
you know,
years.
Yeah,
2016.
see, Oslo, you got to follow, buddy. You got to crack the conversation now. I said it at the start. Even Pickles admitted to
Dude,
that.
you are.
No, I just mean
you're-
that since 2016, it's been very convenient for Republicans to no longer care
Well,
about
I couldn't
moral
vote back then,
character.
dude. I just voted this election, man. So I don't know what kind of shit you're talking about, but I couldn't vote back then.
Yeah, that seems about right.
White? What?
No, I said about right. Why
A
did you think I
Muppet with
said
a
white?
speech
Is that
impediment?
what's going on? Clean out your ears,
You
buddy.
said white, man. I heard white. So
No, I said right.
I mean, if it's
about
hard
right.
if it's hard to multitask without a speech impediment, that's fine, man. I get that.
Dog, we're not going to diss people with speech impediments.
No,
you good?
it's just
You good on that?
I'm sorry.
You good on that?
I'm good on that, man. I mean, it's just so obnoxious, man. You're bringing this fucking Muppet on stage, man.
I can mute and just watch.
Chat felt give
No,
Oslo a
it's-
follow. He makes great content.
Are you actually from Oslo, buddy?
No, but
Why
I
is your
just
name that?
I like Norway because they have really robust social issues and they're still a capitalist country.
Well, I've lived in there. It kinda
Proving
fucking
that we
sucks,
can
man.
help out the people in need and still participate in capitalism.
Well, you chose the wrong guy to talk about Norway with, dude. I've lived there. It kind of sucks, man. It's not a good country.
It kind
Is
of
that why
Actually,
they have the highest rate of happiness in the world?
Hold on, no, that's Finland, dude. But the highest, the most far right party in Norway is actually growing.
Oh, sorry, I meant second highest.
But hold on, one thing that you need to know, because you guys are so anti-right, the most far right party in Norway is the one that's growing the highest right now. It's funny. It's
Yeah,
like
we'll
the biggest
see.
party in Norway. You'll see. It's called FRP. It's like the biggest party right now.
Like
And
what
you guys-
happened in Germany, right?
And you guys love sucking that. You guys love sucking on Norway right now. But
Yeah,
look
we'll
what's
see.
growing in Norway. Look what's
I
growing.
bet the far right
The far
party
right.
in Norway is probably like the liberal movement here.
No, they want to cut taxes for the rich. They want to cut that, and the party leader, she's against gay marriage. So you
What a
still want to
flex.
suck Norway,
What a
dude?
flex.
You still want to suck Norway, buddy?
Hey, love, I gotta tell
telling you what the
you.
Norwegian people think, man. They don't like you as much as you like them, man.
Hey,
It's
love, I gotta
one-sided,
tell
buddy.
you. There are
Yeah,
awful
you have a
people everywhere
parasocial
in every
relationship with
country.
Norway, man. What?
Yeah, so when someone starts talking, that's why you listen. You didn't hear what I said. There are awful people everywhere in every country, even Norway.
Yeah, but majority of the Norwegian people want the far right now.
I don't think that's
Okay.
true.
Look it up. What's the biggest part? Listen, Pickles, you got Google right in front of me. Look it up right now, man. Look it up, buddy. Far right is growing, man.
I don't know why you would cheer that on. It's pretty gross.
I'm just making a counter argument. Norway doesn't agree with you guys. The people who live in that country, who live with the policies you guys love so much, they don't like it no more. They
How
want to
do
be
you
like
measure
us,
how
buddy.
big a political party is?
Like who votes for it the most? I think it's either the fastest growing right now or it's the biggest.
Okay, fastest growing could have mean like it grew by 100%, going from 1 to 2 people.
Yeah, no, it's always been a big party, bro. Just look it up, man. That's definitely not the case, but
Okay, the Labour Party has been the largest party in Parliament ever since the election in 1927, up until the recent 2017 election. So what about 2025? Labour Party by far.
fastest growing. Then look that up.
I don't know. Where did you even see this? Do you want me to do you want to show me
Just
that?
go on AI. Dude. Go on AI. Can I see your screen? Can I see your screen?
Go on AI. Are you crazy?
Yeah, hold on. Go on AI. I think that's the best way. Or you can use Norwegian sources themselves. Look up fastest growing party in Norway.
I
right now.
honestly don't care what like I just said.
I'm just saying what's growing in Norway. What they think. They don't
Good
want the
stuff.
left no more.
Good stuff. And I'm sure someone there has cancer too, and I'm not cheering that on.
Yes, you see that? The Progress Party, buddy. Look at that. You can suck on that, man. That's what I said. That's what I'm been saying.
Yeah, it doesn't still mean much.
Yeah, you see the person they named there? They're against gay marriage.
Good stuff. Do you
They're
think that's
the
good?
most.
Do you think that's good?
I'm saying the Norwegian people don't want the far left. They want the far right. They're tired of the lefties. They're tired of social democracy. Look up the Progress Party right now. I'm telling you, they got the most far right policies. They got tax cuts for the
I
rich.
get it. I get it. I get it.
They
Cool,
want to remove
cool.
income taxes. I've been telling you, dude, don't suck on Norway, bro. They don't want that no more.
All right, bro.
People want the far right. Hold on. Think on that, buddy. Think on that.
Think
Why
on
do
that.
people?
I should start thinking about why Norway's political landscape is changing. Maybe because they're copying
on that.
Donald Trump's. Maybe they're copying Donald Trump's fucking archetype for politics, lying their dicks off, demonizing people, talking about trying to convince people that trickle-down economics work. I don't know. Why would they do that?
Pickles. You're a social democrat, right? I've
Yes.
heard you say that. Then how come the country that is actually a social democrat is growing and wants to be far right?
That doesn't really mean anything.
Reevaluate.
I don't know what that means.
Why
They're
do they
growing.
want to
They're
change
growing. They're
from
growing.
social democracy to the far right?
I
Why
love
do they
Norway.
want
Still,
that?
the way Norway is proves that it's working, and they're rated one of the happiest countries on earth. For you to tell me
If
to
it's
look
so
at
jolly and good, why do they want to change to the far right? You never
I
answered
don't
the
know. Maybe
question.
someone's really
You
good
don't
at
know.
political. Maybe someone's really
telling
good
you.
at political campaigns. I don't know, dude.
Maybe there's something to it, buddy. That's what I'm saying. They're
Dang.
tired
But
of
right
the
now-
immigration.
but right
they're
now,
tired
they're
of the
great.
crime rates, buddy. They're tired of the
Okay.
grape cases. That's what
Okay.
they're tired of, and you
All
don't
right.
seem to accept that.
It just
You just want to stay in your fucking bubble, dude. I'm telling you.
dude. You're getting a little
You
carried
got
away.
schooled on Norway. You love it so much.
You're the one who brought up Norway.
No, you guys did.
Actually, it was Oslo.
Yeah, he
No,
loves
he
it.
asked me if I love
still love
Norway
Norway,
because my
buddy?
name is Oslo.
You still
He brought
love
it up.
Norway, buddy? You gonna change that name or no?
What are you talking about?
Are
How
you
is
gonna
this-
change your name because you're not very loving?
They haven't
I
won
love
anything yet.
everyone.
What does that mean?
I'm Christ-like. I love everyone, but are you gonna change that name, Oslo?
You're sitting here going, look, everybody's against gay marriage in Norway. I win a argument we're never even having.
Because you're so like, oh, I love this country. It's the fucking best, and
They're
those people
doing
don't even
great.
like the country
They're
themselves.
proof that the values that we are championing work. They're
They're not because they don't want to be that no more.
Okay,
Their
we're gonna have
crime
to see
rates
that in
are
September.
raising.
We're gonna have to see that in September.
This guy's crashing out at 88 miles per hour and going back in time to 1934.
No, I'm not a Yahtzee. I'm for the war against them, but you guys have to listen, right?
Hello?
You feel better after that crash out, man?
Yeah.
I think me just raising my voice is just me making a point, not crashing out. But
Yeah, no, that's actually crashing out.
how come?
So, hey, I was wondering, what's so good about the far right?
A lot of things, man. A lot of things. I like the immigration. I like basically the same reasons why I voted for Trump. I don't know if you were here earlier, but
That's
both.
extremely vague. Can you be a little more
Well,
specific?
I listed
Like
a few
what
reasons. You can
what
ask both of
tenets
them.
of far right ideology? Hold on, words, man. What tenets of far right ideology do you agree with?
The anti-immigration, I like that part.
Okay, what else?
Yeah, I like the anti-wokeism. I don't like the wokeism. Um,
I
Every
don't
I,
know
time we
what
try to bring
wokeism
this
is.
stuff
I
up,
Did
you
you
don't
also
just
care
make
like.
about
that word
people.
up?
You don't care about moral character, but you care about culture
I
wars.
also like. What do you mean?
You don't care about moral character, but you care about culture wars.
I think it's incompetent to have a wokeist agenda saying white people are all inherently racist, saying that
Well,
a
they are.
person. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I think that's a dangerous idea. I
Well,
think
it's
I
because
called
you
it.
don't understand words. You don't understand what inherently means. You think it means like you're born with it, and it doesn't. You should read books. But seriously, what is it about the far right agenda that you like, other than the
I've
white
already told you,
supremacy?
man. You just don't listen. It's called words, man. Like you said, just listen. If you just can't come up with a counter argument, that's on you, man. It's on me.
I, you didn't give me an
Silence.
argument. You said immigration. I said that's like be more specific. Give me. So you said wokeism is, and that's not even a thing. So the second one doesn't even account. Hey, do you think that there are injustices in this world?
Everywhere, man. Everywhere.
Everywhere. Do you have a desire to change those injustices?
Yeah, man. I hate those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the left, comrade. That's literally the definition of woke.
You're saying words are prescriptive? Or no, are you saying words are descriptive, not prescriptive?
No, but I don't think
Words
there's
are
too many
not.
people that say woke is anything other than that, being aware of social injustices.
I call woke the far left radical
Far
ideology.
left radical
Yeah,
ideology.
that's silly.
And what does that comprise of? Like not punching down on trans people?
No, thinking all white people are racist. Being a communist, pretty far left, pretty radical. I'd
A
say
communist?
I think we all have just the radical left ideology is. Like,
Can I
Okay.
chime in from people in the chat?
Yeah.
I looked at your bio, love, and I have a song I want to sing for you based on what I read in your bio. It goes like this. If you don't have ovaries, then you can shut your mouth. If you don't have ovaries, then you can shut your mouth. If it's not your body, then you don't have a say. If you don't have ovaries, then you can shut your mouth.
what are you talking about?
Your bio.
Your body said your bio says your body my choice. Kind of gross.
That's gross,
Oh
man.
no, he's a legit Yahtzee, guys. He's a Groyper. He's a legit Yahtzee. It says right in
No,
his bio. He's a Groyp. Yeah,
you
that's a
guys
Groyper.
don't say anything, huh?
You
guys
don't
just
think I
don't.
understand what the dog whistles are, man? You don't think I pay attention to you
Well, that's not
folks?
a dog whistle. That's a group of
Like
people
I keep
online.
lists of you guys so I can line up my wall. You get that, right?
But that's not even a dog whistle, though.
A Groyper? Where does that come from?
It's a group of people, man.
Yeah,
Who believe in certain things.
where was that
Not a dog
established?
whistle.
Yeah, you and I stop. Hey man, you know what's sad is like your racist ass grandpa would have been proud to be racist. Yeah, I fucking hate black people. You know, he would have said these things with
Whoa, whoa,
pride
whoa,
and
whoa, whoa,
honor.
whoa, 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 whoa,
You,
whoa. Did you
you,
hear what this guy just said, buddy?
you have to deny it. You have to use dog whistles and tell everybody I'm a groiper. So some people don't actually
Oh,
understand what
fuck
that
off, dude. I'm
means,
not racist.
but
Dude.
I know what
Okay,
it
I
means.
get it.
I know what it means. It means you're anti-Semitic. It means you're racist. That's what that means.
Origin. The term gained prominence in 2019. Nick Fuentes, a far-right political commentator, began referring to his followers as Groypers. Are you a Nick Fuentes buff?
Buddy, look at my profile picture, man. Are you blind?
Is that Fuentes? Yeah, dude. It's all of 3 fucking centimeters tall. I can't see that far.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
it's
see
kind
that
of
far.
micro.
Is that Nick
Yeah, if
Fuentes?
you need your glasses, buddy,
Yeah.
that's on you, man. If you need your glasses.
That's Nick Fuentes.
You guys are fucking idiots, man. That's kind of a waste of time. If
Dude,
you can't recognize
you
the
can't.
face like
You
that,
can't.
then
You
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 know.
don't want to admit to your like ideology.
No, I'm
That's
not
kind
a
of
Yahtzee
cowardly.
at all. I'm a full-fledged capitalist. I don't believe in National Socialism. I'm a full.
No, no, no. We're not.
Yahtzees are also capitalists, dude. I don't know. You don't understand.
Yeah, but they're state capitalists, and that kind of sucks.
No, fascism is the
So
merger, like the marriage
your
of capitalism
your
and government.
your gripe with Nazism is their economic means.
Yeah.
Also, the way they treat other people, right? You guys trying to paint a narrative is so funny. Like I'm not
Dog,
actually.
you're sitting here crying because we have judgments about you being a self-proclaimed Groyper? Really?
I don't proclaim it, dude. Why do you keep on saying that?
It's in your bio.
I don't want
Does
to.
it say
I don't want
verbatim?
to paint
I'm
a
a
narrative. I
groyper?
want to paint the curb.
Does
I
it
want to
say?
paint the curb, buddy,
Does it
not a
say
narrative.
I'm a groyper? Verbatim?
All right.
Are you gonna play games now? Are you gonna pretend?
I'm good. I'm just gonna kick it. I don't need this, dude.
Hold on, I gotta tie my shoe. Everyone, take a look. Go on, get. Go on, get.
Go on, get. All right.
All right, man. I want to bounce. I was just tired of listening to the Yahtzee. I wanted to yell at him for a minute. Thanks for
All
letting
right.
me yell.
All right, dude. Take it easy.
Be safe.
Bye.
Oh, before I go, I do like carve out some time for me tonight. I need to ask you some questions about editing,
Okay.
if you're free. If
Yeah,
you're not like on a date with the better half or shit.
I have dinner tonight with somebody, but after that, I'll let you know.
All right, cool. Talk to you later.
All right.
Man, that guy was weird. Not Tic Tac.
Yeah. Yeah. My whole YouTube is going, that guy is trashing you guys. Literally, here's how the conversation was going. I schooled him on Russia, Ukraine, and then he goes, oh, yeah, I bet you like Norway. Well, you should see how many people like the far right party in Norway. I win. What? That's what he did? And you're cheering that on? And then, by the way, he's a Nick Fuentes fan? Oh, my God.
Maybe should I go on YouTube? I made an account, but I haven't posted anything yet.
You should. So is Kanye. Yikes.
They seem really nice over there.
You should. Yeah, you should definitely go say hi to them. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to 1v1s while I still
Yeah,
can.
okay.
I love you, Oslo. Chat, follow
Bye.
Oslo.
Love you too.
All right,
Just tell me to go on and get.
go on, get. I got you. YouTube's full of Yahtzees. Yeah, I know. Yep. Chat, tap the screen. Let's get the 50K real quick. I've probably got like an hour left before I gotta go. So if you're a Trump supporter, hop in the box. Yellow? Mr. Bill?
Oh, hi.
Hi,
Yeah, I didn't mean to click on you. Sorry about that.
I got you. Up. All right. I think I might turn on the YouTube phone here then. Let me close a few of my windows. All right, the YouTube phone number is on. The number is right here, guys. If you guys want to call in debate, here it is. Yellow, is this a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I was just calling to talk about your mama's hot, sweet ass.
Nice. It's funny because it's a mama joke, and we're in 2025. Chat, let's get to 50K, guys. Tap the screen. And also, if you enjoy these debates, give me a follow. Yo, African, we are back. Yellow, is this a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I'm curious. I want to see why you think Trump sucks.
Yeah, I think that his policies are incoherent. I think that he ran the last 3 elections having actually no policy listed whatsoever, and somehow we still voted him in this time around. I think he's extremely problematic. I think he's a horrible diplomat. I think he has no business representing the United States on the world stage. I think he's openly corrupt. What would you like to go with? I think his plans for the border are disgusting. I think they're horrible. I think they'll fall apart as soon as someone else gets in office. He hasn't passed any bills to help the border whatsoever in his first administration, and I don't think he has any plans to do so this administration.
Okay, so let's take one of those. Let's take one at a time. It's quite a few things. I'll give you that. So
Yeah, I'll give you.
which
I'll
one do
let
you
you
want to talk
choose.
about first?
I'll let you choose. Which one do you want to? Which
Well,
one do you know most about?
Well, let's start with the border. Well, I don't know if I know a lot about all of them. Let's start with the border. What do you think about the border is an issue with what he's doing?
Okay, do you think that we should be sending people to prison at the worst prison, one of the worst prisons in the world, with no due process for the rest of their lives for committing a civil crime like a speeding ticket?
Well, they're not committing just a civil crime. The second they come over into the United States illegally, that is a federal crime.
That's not a federal. What crime is it? What statute?
I don't have the statute in front of me, but I promise you can look up the statute.
Okay, so
No,
you
I don't
don't
have
know?
the statute memorized. I don't have the statute memorized. I'm sure I could look it up.
Look it up for
But
me.
it is a. Okay, you want me to look it up right now while I'm on the phone with you?
Yeah, I would love to know. I've been asking this for months. I haven't found anybody that knows what crime they commit besides entry without inspection,
Okay.
which is a Class C misdemeanor.
Let's see. The improper entry is federal offense under U.S. 8 Code 1325.
And is it a
which is
misdemeanor?
federal offense. No, it's a federal offense.
Okay, is it a misdemeanor?
Okay, so you have different misdemeanors. With a misdemeanor isn't a federal offense.
Okay, federal
So
just means
somebody that
it's
has
the
it's
not
a federal
state.
crime. For
Yes.
example, if I was to get a Class A misdemeanor, I can still carry an armed. I can be armed. I can have a weapon. If
Mhm.
I commit a federal offense, I cannot. So
Okay.
a federal offense is not a misdemeanor. They're
do
two
you-
separate things.
Okay,
So I
there
give you
are
the statute.
federal
I give you the statute.
misdemeanors. They are civil. They are civil liabilities. So, like, if you have,
It is it can't
if
be
you-
it can't be a civil. It cannot be. I mean, it can be charged as a civil offense as well. But if it's a federal
Mhm.
offense,
and
then it is no.
should-
it is not. It is not
should-
considered a civil offense.
should they go to jail
Excuse me.
or prison for the rest of their life with no hearing, with no due process?
Well, number one, we're not the ones sending them to prison.
Yes, we are.
For the rest of their lives. We are deporting them to their country of origin, and then they are going to prison there for the crimes that they committed there.
There's
So
no,
no, we're not
they're
the
not
one that's
committing
doing that.
crimes over there. They're actually not indicted or charged with any, 70% of them have no prior history of any charges, any criminality in either country. And furthermore, they're not just like shipping them to a community center and they just so happen to go to prison. These planes are literally flying them to CCOT. And CCOT's going, hey,
Okay.
we don't even take women. You can take those women back. And they fly the women all the way back. So if they're just taking anybody and then just so happening to sort people through and put them in prison that are bad, that's wrong. They're sending the ones that they can't put in the prison back.
So, number one, if they commit a federal offense here, which is entering the country illegally, and if they have other crimes against them where they're crimes against people here, citizens here, I think we should make citizens first here, right? I'm not saying that people aren't people.
I'm not
But
asking
number
who we
one-
should take first. I'm asking what the punishment should be. Should we put them in prison without due process?
So that under the statute, and I'd have to look up the statute as well, the due process is us deporting them. That is the due process. We do not have to give them due process for the crimes that they commit to deport them to their country of origin.
No, you've also got that
That's
wrong.
true.
So
No, I
if,
don't.
if somebody, yes, you do. So there's a
No,
law. It's called,
an illegal alien that comes in illegally to the United States is not subject to
Okay.
the same due process that citizens are.
that's not true.
That is 100%. Yes, it
That's
is.
not true. It's
Oh,
the Fifth
Okay,
Amendment.
tell me the statute. So the Fifth Amendment applies to citizens of the United States.
That's not true.
If you come, yes, it does.
It applies to them
You can-
and
you
it
can-
applies to everybody.
You can say, no, it doesn't. The Constitution of the United States is for citizens of the United
That is
States.
not true.
Yes, it is.
All right, we're going to
100%
Google
of it.
this.
You
Are you,
can
can you see the screen right now? Can you see my screen? Does the
No, I don't have you on the screen.
Constitution apply to non-citizens? I'm going to hit enter, and let's see what
Okay.
comes up. Yes, the U.S. Constitution applies to non-citizens, including undocumented immigrants. Try again.
Okay. I'm having a real hard time spelling right now.
There's also case law. There's also a Supreme Court case about this.
Yeah.
But the
I'm
wording in
seeing
the
that.
Fifth Amendment means all. It says all persons. It doesn't say citizens. It doesn't say white men. It doesn't say anything like that. It just says all people.
I'm not saying it says white men. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not like, don't turn this into a racist thing.
Mhm.
What do you mean? You're saying you're accusing me now of saying something that I haven't said. Don't come to me and tell me that I'm saying white men or
You just
whatever.
automatically made up something in your head where a certain type of
No, you
person
said-
doesn't. Excuse me. That doesn't have constitutional protections. You just made that up, and you were sure of it.
I'm saying
sorry
US
for
citizen-
accusing
US
you of being some
citizen-
sort of way.
You're accused. A U.S. citizen doesn't necessarily mean it has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with what country they're a part of.
Okay.
They could be white. They could be black. Don't you accuse me of doing that. That is the one thing that lost you guys this election
Oh, okay.
is accusing people of being white supremacist, and racist. You don't even know what color I am. How dare you assume?
I didn't say anything.
You
I
should
said
apologize. You
mhm.
should apologize right now.
I think you're grasping at straws because I just schooled you on the Constitution.
You just schooled me on the Constitution. Okay. Oops.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. I just don't have very good internet connection where I'm at.
Okay, so do you agree that sending people for the rest of their lives to a prison without due process, even if they're asylum seekers, even if they have a judge order that
So
says
asylum seekers are different than people that cross the border illegally. If you cross the border illegally, then you're breaking the U.S.
Can I ask you how does one go about seeking asylum? Do you have to go to a port of entry?
You have to go to port of entry, and there's a process for seeking asylum.
It's false.
Asylum. Okay. So there is a process for seeking asylum. If you don't have to go to port of entry, that's fine. But there's still a process. That's not just coming out.
What's the process, my friend?
Undocumented.
What's the process?
Okay. Process of seeking asylum. Let's see here. You tell me.
You can come across the border, whether it be at a port of entry or not a port of entry, and you have up to 1 year to claim asylum.
Okay, and there have been plenty of people that haven't done that. Are you okay if we just if those people are considered?
I think
if they get tracked down and say, "Are you seeking asylum?"
I think
whatever. Or if they commit crimes here in the United States, violent crimes, a lot of the time,
they get deported.
Do you think then those people should be? I'm not saying that they just automatically get deported. However, if it does come to the point where they get deported at a certain point in time, they're no longer they're no longer under the custody of the United States, and so whoever decides to keep them in prison, that's not the United States call.
When they're here,
so if they get sent back to their country of origin, and those people and that country decides to send them to prison, how is that at all anything to do with the United States?
You're pretending like Trump isn't doing this and paying Bukele to the tune of $6 million to do this.
Okay, to what?
To imprison them.
People back.
To imprison them.
To imprison them. Okay,
yes.
So what? So you're saying that he's paying him to imprison them?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you get that?
Oh my God. All right.
My God. What?
Trump. $6 million deportee deal with El Salvador's MAGA CCOT prison.
Deal where they're paying them to take their illegal immigrants from the United States back to their country.
No, it's
not
with
saying that they're
CCOT.
making them stay.
It's with CCOT.
Okay, then with CCOT. That's not
Do you know what CCOT is?
No, explain it to me.
CCOT is the prison.
Okay. So then at that point, it's the due process there in that country.
There's no due process there. The due process we have for deporting people is you have to see a judge so that we don't accidentally send people like Abrego Garcia, who had a court order to not be sent specifically to El Salvador, doesn't get sent there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're defending somebody who has connections, obvious connections with a terrorist
I'm defending all people that Trump might kidnap and try to send to another country. I'm defending all of those people.
All of those people that came in through the border illegally. They were.
No.
The order is signed by the order is signed by a judge to get them and to deport them. That is due process.
That is not due process. That is why the Supreme Court 9-0 said that he can't do that anymore.
Okay. But that is okay. So there's always case law, and there's always things that can change based on a situation. But he's following. So what would you have done at the border? The biggest border crisis in our country's history. What would you have done? We're 15,
I would have passed.
15,000 a day.
Okay.
15,000.
And how many
people coming
a
across
day were being deported and kicked out?
But during the Biden administration?
Yeah.
Not near the amount that were coming in.
Okay, you're right. It's about 50%.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that's 7,000 people a day.
Yeah, and
The-
if
and-
they were
and
coming
and
legally,
do you not care about the people that the little girls and the people that were being trafficked across here, and the drugs that were coming across, and the criminals that were coming from
I
different
do.
places? An
So
open border.
you're gish
You do?
galloping.
So
It's
what
not an
would you
open
have
border.
done?
There's no open border.
It was an
right?
open border. There was an open border.
No, Trump spent
The
4
people are
years
just coming
campaigning.
across.
4 years, Trump spent campaigning, brainwashing people, thinking it's an open border.
Uh-huh.
Nobody can describe how, why, what happened, what made the border open, what law changed. None of y'all know that. None of y'all know that Biden deported more people day by day, month by month than Trump ever will, ever would, ever
Then
did.
why are you so concerned about it? How come you weren't fighting it during
because
the
Biden was
administration?
doing it within the confines of the law, and Trump is not. He's taking people's like constitutional and human rights away from them.
Okay, so if you're a federal, if you break a federal rule and you get deported to your country of origin, that's what happens if you go into Canada illegally? What happens?
They might
They will
hold me in
send you
jail.
back.
They might deport me. Yeah, and the thing is, they have 2 years to deport you without due process. But when you're here for multiple years, you have a family, you have all this other stuff, and Trump wants to
Well,
just randomly take people
get
who
that.
never broke any laws and take them and uproot their
They did
lives
break
and
the laws.
send them to an authoritarian dictatorship country because he has like some
They
sort
did
of
break
weird money
laws.
deal.
I mean,
No,
they
you're
did break
talking about
laws.
you're talking about people
coming
that potentially only were here seeking
Potentially.
asylum or had temporary
But
protective
you
status.
said they had 2 years. You said 2
Yes,
years.
yes, and if they're
And so
here
that
longer
falls
than
a
2
very
years, he
small
doesn't get to do that.
No. So they have 2 years to seek asylum.
They have 1 year to seek asylum. They have, but
You
if
said
you have
2
you have 2 years before you can have expedited removal.
Okay, so let's say so how many people fall within the what do you mean? So after 2 years you can receive expedited removal,
Before 2 years, you can be expedited removal.
and before 1 year what?
Before 1 year, you have up to 1 year to seek asylum.
Yeah, so you have a year time where
Mhm.
in the middle where you have to either if you haven't seek asylum, then you can be deported by expedited removal.
Yeah, the thing is, this is what you're cheering on. You're cheering on Trump just taking people and sending them to a whole nother country without any court rulings, just because you think them having entry without inspection, a Class C misdemeanor, is so
No, it's
bad.
not a Class C misdemeanor.
It is a
We
Class
talked
C
about that.
misdemeanor.
I looked up the No, I looked up the statute.
I'm gonna have to
and
slam
it's a
dunk you on this
federal
too.
offense. Okay, let's slam dunk me on this too. Go for it. I told you that I looked up the statute. It's a federal statute.
Yes,
The
the
federal
border
offense, and that is a criminal.
border security is under the purview of the federal government. Yes, that doesn't mean it's like a
Yes.
federal gun crime.
Yes, but if you have a federal offense, regardless of the level of offense, you have more restrictions on you than if it was just a civil one or a state one. A
right here.
federal offense.
In the context of Texas laws, specific instances where entry without inspection or failure to comply with inspection order can be classified as Class C misdemeanor. Failure to comply,
Yes, but
the order issued by class blah blah blah, blah discusses regulation, health code, safety.
yeah, what statute is
That's
that?
it.
What statute is that? What statute? The number,
the-
the name, and the number of the.
Let me see. Class C misdemeanor Texas fine only offense. By the way, chapter
Okay, so
230
federal
223.
offense, U.S. Code 8, 1325.
Okay. 8 USC 1325.
Which
Improper
US
entry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a $50 fine.
Regardless of it's a $50 fine, is that breaking the law? Okay. What happens if you don't pay a $50 parking ticket?
You tell me. I probably have one.
Okay, if you don't pay a $50 parking ticket and you don't go to court, you will get arrested, and then you will go to and you'll spend time in jail,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll go before a judge,
Yeah,
and
or
you will have that offense on your record.
you won't
It
have it on
doesn't-
your record.
just
You'll
be-
just pay your. You'll have just time served if it's Class C.
No, I didn't say it was Class C.
Yes,
But
it
again,
is Class
But
C.
again, you will have that on your record.
You won't have it on your record.
Yes, you will. Jail time served 100%.
No, that's
And they
not.
could slap you with further offenses because of it.
No, you could probably get like what's it called? Being in, what's it called with courts? Being in,
I don't know what you're trying to say.
not life in prison is all that matters. Due process is what it's
Oh, I
called.
know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a fine, $50 and no more than $250 for each entry. So it's literally just a civil penalty, bro. Civil.
No, you're if it's a federal offense, it is now a federal crime. It is not civil.
It is
Civil
civil.
and federal.
It
Civil
literally
and
just
criminal
says civil penalties. That's all it is. Civil penalties.
There are civil penalties, but it is a federal offense.
You're just saying federal as if it's some big boogeyman. Yes, the border is under the purview of the
No.
federal government. That's it.
Yes, you're right. There are different things when it comes to federal crimes versus state crime versus civil crime. It may be a civil penalty that you have to pay, but it's still a federal offense. Now, I'm not saying it's like a big bag boogeyman or whatever it is you're saying, right? What I'm saying that it carries higher penalties most of the time. And a federal offense takes the federal government into it, which they typically had more.
Yeah. Again,
Much
okay.
more,
I literally don't care if all of these people did something that the fine is $50 for. You shouldn't be going to the jail or prison for the rest of your life. I'm sorry.
But they're not going
That's
to
what
jail
Trump
or
is
prison
doing.
for the rest of their.
I'm
No,
sorry.
they're not.
You're right. It's prison. It's prison for the rest
not-
of their lives.
They're not. No, they're not. They're not going
Yes,
to
they
prison
are.
for the rest of their life. They're being deported to their countries, and what their countries decide to do with them is completely.
Trump
out of our
is
control.
literally making a deal directly with the prison and sending them directly to the prison. Now,
It
do you
doesn't
not
matter
like
what
that?
deal they make. It doesn't matter what deal they make. It doesn't mean that they stay in there. Do you have all the documentation
Yes.
that those people
The
are
only
staying?
way out of
No, you
CCOT,
don't.
the only way out of CCOT is to die.
That is not true.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. So again, you don't have all the facts when it comes to other countries. We can argue what's going on here, but you have very few facts when it comes to what the other regulations and different things are with other countries. You cannot tell me that nobody's ever made it out of CCOT. I bet you, I guarantee you, we'd be able to find somebody.
Has somebody escaped? I doubt it.
I don't know. But again, you're basically saying you know exactly how these countries and these prisons and everything operates, and you don't.
It's
may
a lifelong
understand a little-
prison. It's a lifelong prison.
Okay.
It is not just something you serve your time. There's no judge. They don't see a judge there. You don't get phone
Okay.
calls. You don't get a lawyer.
Okay. Again, you don't know what's going on in these
This is what
countries.
you're
You think you do.
prescribing to these people who committed $50 finable offenses. This is why I say I disagree with Trump's immigration policy, and you're defending it out of ignorance, out of extreme ignorance.
No, not at all. I think if people commit crimes and they come here illegally, when there's a process for coming here legally, that they should be sent back to their country of origin.
Okay, do you think they should be sent straight to the prison in their country?
Where is CCOT?
Holy fuck. It's in El Salvador.
Okay, so every single person that gets
Yes, in planes containing over 250 people, something around that, 70% of them had no crimes in either country. 70%, that's over
In which
100 people
country?
in either country,
In
El
which
Salvador
country?
or United States. They had
But are
no
they
criminal
from
backgrounds.
El Salvador? Are they from El Salvador?
Yes. They have
Okay.
no crimes in
Okay,
either
so-
country, and they're sending them
hold on,
straight
hold on,
to
hold on,
CCOT.
hold on. So they're sending them only people that are from El Salvador to CCOT
No, some from Venezuela.
because that country has decided that they want to send them there because it's also a communist regime. Correct?
Sure.
Okay. Do I agree with El Salvador's things and do I agree with Venezuela? No, I don't.
Then why
However,
are you green lighting Trump on this?
I'm not greenlighting Trump. I'm saying those who came here illegally could have done it legally. You're trying to make it sound like every single
It's a
person.
$50 offense, bro.
Okay, but you're trying to make it sound like every single person that is being deported, regardless of their country of origin, is going to CCOT, and that's not true. Only the people from Venezuela and El Salvador. Okay, what about all the rest of them?
I'm
Where are they
saying
going?
that's why Trump's numbers at the border are so low, because the human rights violations he's committing, and that's why we have travel restrictions and warnings from multiple countries. So that's why we have multiple watchdog organizations pointing at the Trump administration. That's why we have all
What
these
watchdog
countries.
organizations and what travel restrictions from which countries?
Travel warnings. I mean, literally name it. Canada. Canada's got one on us.
Okay, that's because, yeah, I'm sure Canada's not too happy with the tariffs.
Yeah, I'm sure no
Okay,
country's
who
happy
else?
with the tariffs. So every country that I name has got a tariff on it, right?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so
I
game
wouldn't
over.
be happy if we were taking advantage of the United States and then we got
If you fell
tariffs
for
put
that
on us
propaganda
gave
too,
us
then I can walk you through that and deconstruct that with you too. Which country's
By all
taking
means.
advantage of us?
Well, China was taking advantage of 100%, and that's the one
How
that
are
I
they
was worried
taking
about the
advantage
most.
of us?
The amount of tariffs that they put on us versus the amount of tariffs
What
that we had
tariffs
on
do you
them
think they had on us?
were completely, and the different policies and procedures and different things that they had were completely in favor of the Chinese Communist Party and not
Hey,
of our own
what,
self,
what, what,
not of us.
what tariffs would you like
You
to
tell
see
me.
them take off?
What tariffs? What do you mean?
What tariffs were they putting on us that you would like to see them take down?
What tariffs do you think?
Okay, that's what I thought.
What?
You don't know. You're just
You tell
blindly
me.
paying this 30% tariff to Trump because he tells you it's so unfair.
That it's now. I haven't sat down and looked at the exact tariffs that China has on there, but I have looked at the tariffs, and I think the tariff, the discussions that they're having now with regards to the tariffs is something that needed to happen between China and the U.S.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Biden was able to do things and negotiate trade deals with them without doing hostile like economic war
Yet what
with them.
happened? What happened to our country? What happened to the cost of living, the price of everything?
Because of
What
COVID?
happened to the price because of COVID?
Yeah.
All right. When are people okay? Everybody blamed Trump for COVID, and now they gave it an excuse to Biden for COVID.
No, the whole world experienced inflation with COVID.
Yeah, but it experienced inflation way more under Biden's administration.
Biden had the
COVID
lowest
was at the-
inflation in the world. Our country experienced the lowest inflation, and every country in the world was envious of the Biden economy.
Really?
Yes.
No, that is not true.
Okay, tell
at
me a
all.
country that was doing better.
Poland.
No.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Poland was doing better than the United States economy
100%.
post-COVID.
Post-COVID?
Yeah.
Like, as in, like,
Their recovery.
How post-COVID?
Okay.
How post-COVID?
If I pull up Poland on this map, you're going to tell me that it's not going to show me that they have 10 to 25% inflation while we had 2%?
I don't know.
Yeah,
But I
well,
know that
I can already
Poland-
tell you, you're wrong. That's what it shows.
Yeah, and you can already see, okay, prices of everything doubled
Yep, because of COVID.
or triple. Yeah, everybody's going to blame COVID. But the second,
Can you tell me the law that
like,
Biden passed that made things triple in price?
well, he got rid of the Green New Deal, or sorry, the gas deal and everything that we had going there. Got rid of tons of different.
He got
jobs
rid of the gas deal?
that we had with got rid of fracking, got rid of almost
That's
every
wrong.
single thing. Okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Biden
here's the
drilled
thing.
more oil
You're gonna-
every
you're
year. Biden drilled more oil every year and every month than Trump did during his administration. If he quit 1 year ago, if he quit drilling 1 year ago, we still would have drilled more than Trump. Try again.
I don't believe your stats. Sorry.
Okay, well then I'll just show you those.
Okay, show me those.
Where do you check for oil, domestic oil production in the United States? Do you know where?
No.
It's called the
off the top of my head.
EIA.gov. EIA.gov. Energy Information. EIA.gov. Energy Information Administration, and I will pull up EIA oil production. And if you look at my screen right now, you will see that in
I'm not looking at the screen, just so you know.
2017, Trump had 8.8 million barrels per day. 2018, in January, Trump had 10. 2019, 11.8. 2020,
When was COVID?
2020.
Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Okay. And then in 12.8. And then COVID hit. And we started backtracking. And then in January, mind you, this is still Trump, January 2021, 11.1 million barrels per day. And during this time period, Trump calls his buddies in Saudi Arabia and he goes, hey, nobody's driving. Nobody's buying any oil. I'm going to tell you to stop drilling so much goddamn oil because there's so much. The market's flooded. It's a world commodity. You need to stop drilling oil to the tune of 9.7 million barrels today. And you just heard me spout off all these numbers for how much we do per day. So $9.7 million is like turning off our entire country at one point in time.
Which is what happened.
And so Trump told them to turn it off, and it was for a 2-year deal. He said, if you don't do this, I'm going to stop selling you defense weapons. And then they said, okay, we're turning off the oil for 2 straight years. And then oil fucking skyrocketed all the way into the Biden administration. So during Biden, though, Biden kept drilling. We have 11.4 million barrels per day, 12.6 in January, 12.5, 13.4 was what Biden left Trump.
Okay,
13.4 December. Now it's 13.1, 13.2, 13.4 again.
Okay, so it's about the same.
Yeah.
Right, but there had to be an increase especially after everything that happened with COVID. So
I'm explaining to you, Trump is the one who made gas prices expensive. If you're going to point at gas for being the reason we had inflation, that's Trump.
No, what happened was the inability of people to think through and take COVID with common sense. That's what happened.
Okay, so can you give me the nuanced reason of how prices of groceries went up?
Under Biden?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like everything was freaking shut down, and then what happened to get things back
like people were dying.
What happened to get things? Huh?
People were like dying. Yeah, across the whole world.
Dying from what?
From the COVID, from cocoa.
Okay, how many people were dying?
1.2 million people died.
How many percentage-wise people were dying due to COVID?
Less than 1, but it's extremely pathogenic.
Okay. So less than 1%. Now tell me, the flu virus, what's the mortality rate of the flu virus?
I don't know what the rate is, but it's 30,000 deaths per year.
Greater than
30,000 deaths per year. It's less contagious.
Greater than 1%.
Okay, I don't care, but it's less contagious.
With a vaccine.
Less contagious. 30,000 deaths per year versus 700,000? Which one's deadlier? Can you tell me?
Well, we didn't track the entire world with flu. We only track our own numbers with the flu. So you'd have to go to every.
Okay, I'm talking about 1.2 million domestically. That's domestic. That's United States. You did that.
1.2 domestically. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so again, it's less than a 1%.
I don't care what the percentage is. It spreads faster.
100%.
It spreads faster.
100%. Well, there's so many different There are so many different viruses and different things like that, novel viruses, coronaviruses that
And it
spread
doesn't
fast
kill
and
not
that
even
have a
close as many
higher
people. They
that
don't
have a
kill
higher.
even close.
They do that. We just don't track them. This got politicized
Yeah,
so much.
we track
Yes.
everything that kills people.
I'm in.
What do
I'm
you
in-
mean? What
I'm in health.
what virus do we not track?
What virus that we don't track on the same level that we tracked COVID?
Yeah,
Not a
what
single one.
virus do we not track deaths with?
Not a single one that we tracked in the same way that the COVID.
Okay, can you
Everybody
tell
was
me one where
tested
we're not
multiple
counting
times.
deaths? Can you tell me one?
We may be counting deaths
Okay,
with
so
people that are known to
your
listen
point's
to what I'm
completely
saying,
mute.
because no, it's not. Because we're okay. Let's say let's get back down to first grade math here. I know it's going to be hard for you. Okay, but let's start looking at it. This is what you guys do. I start telling you the percentage. I start telling you facts, and you try and twist them. Oh, well, it's more. It's more. Well, what other people? Well, this is what happens. Let's say you have 10,000 people. I'll use whole numbers to make it easier on you. Okay, you ready?
Okay,
Do I need to talk slower?
go ahead.
Okay, you insult me, I'm going to insult you. Okay, so if you have 10,000 people, let's say 5,000 of them get a virus, okay? But you only test 1,000 of them. But the death rate for that virus in general is 3%. Who now, let's say you have another one. Same amount of people got sick, 5,000, okay? But you tested every single one of them. What's going to show it killed more people? Because we're tracking it better.
Okay,
That's
so what
just
you would have to
common
prove
sense.
is that people are dying of causes that we haven't figured out what the prognosis was or what the diagnosis was.
It happens
we don't
all the
have that.
time.
We don't have that.
Yeah, it happens all the time. People,
Oh, this person
people
has a
show up-
virus and we haven't isolated it. No, that's not happening right now.
Yes, it does. There are people. I just had a friend die. They did an autopsy. They found, I don't know what they
Anecdotal.
found, but the family decided not to let people know what they died from. That is a right that a family has.
That is anecdotal. I'm talking about on a wide scale where it affects data.
And do you know what was happening? Do you know? Okay.
we
Do you
have-
know what was happening in hospitals? Do you want me to tell you what was happening in hospitals? The hospitals were reporting people that had.
I know what he's about to say. We can't say this, guys. We have it XX. We have math on this. I don't want to talk about this anymore on my channel because I've already lost 90 days worth of monetization on YouTube for this. But this is what I will show you guys. This is all you need to know, okay? You see these extra bumps on this graph? Those are excess deaths. Excess. Over and above. Okay? You're going to have to somehow explain this away. Are those here? Are those here? Maybe. That might be his friend. That might be his friend. This is COVID. This is COVID. Okay? You can't explain that away. And for him to be like, whatever, 1%. This is what I say. The Civil War, we lost 500,000 people. One of the bloodiest wars that we've experienced as a country. The Vietnam War, 64,000 deaths. The Middle East, 4,800 deaths. You add all of those up and then double it. Maybe you get to what COVID did to this country. And for you to be like, whatever. It's disgusting. It's sad. Chat, don't forget to follow the stream if you enjoy these debates. I got to be careful. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut off. I'm so paranoid talking about that topic that I'm worried my YouTube's going to get shut down or whatever. So I'll see you guys probably later tonight. I got to go to a dinner here in about an hour. I'm just going to get ready. So I'll see you guys after that. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I love you guys. I will see you guys soon. What's up, Annie? Hello, y'all.